Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Crown, and today I'm going to read you some very interesting stories that I hope that you're gonna love. And now, without further ado, let's go! A former colleague of mine was a fire officer at his organization. One day, he is doing his rounds, checking everybody is as it should be, and he finds he cannot open a fire door. So he goes out the front door and rounds to that side of the building, where he discovers a builder's van blocking the fire door. He spots the builders and asks if it's their van. They say it is, so he asks them politely to move it, as it's illegally blocking a fire exit. The builder refuses, quite impolitely. The fire officer threatened to call the fire service to move the offending vehicle, and the builder laughs and calls his bluff. The officer goes back indoors and calls a fire service, explaining the problem. 10 minutes later, a fire service towing vehicle arrives, and they start preparing to tow the builder's van. The builders are furious and start shouting, "You can't tow my van," and so on. The fire officers are saying, "Yeah, we actually can. You're blocking a fire exit." The builder has a wonderful idea of calling the police. 3 minutes later, a police car arrives, siren blaring, and two police officers get out and go to speak to the fire officers. The builder starts smirking until the police officers get to their vehicle. The builder goes over to the police officers and asks if they are going to do anything about his vehicle being towed. And one of them says, "Yes, I'm going to do something. I'm going to watch. I've never seen this being done before, and then I'm going to fine you for blocking a fire exit." So, a few years ago, I was a student studying in childcare. Now, as a part of my course, I'm meant to one day a week work in a private nursery. For people who don't know what a nursery is, it is basically preschool, I think, for experience. So whilst I was there for a year, I became very close with the staff members and the children that were there. During the summer, a new child was enrolled into the nursery. The little girl, we will call her Mary, because her favorite song was "Mary Has a Little Lamb." Now, Mary is an adorable little girl who likes to jump around and give everyone hugs and kisses. A ball of fluff is what she is. Mary is a bit slightly chubby for a 3-year-old, but that's okay. No problem with a little bit of chop, but her mom thought otherwise. Her mom, whom we'll call Karen, is this tall white lady who is American who moved to our country last year. Mary didn't look anything like Karen. Mary is a black child, but that isn't a problem to us since everyone's families come in different sizes and shapes, but I had to point this out since it'll become important later. Karen was well known in the nursery for her inappropriate fashion style and for her lovely personality. She would show up with a flush red face, a tight slim skinny dress that shows off either her cleavage and caked in excessive amount of makeup. A lot of us thought she was always tipsy whenever she came to pick up Mary, but since she always goes around in an Uber, that's right, even if it's somewhere down her road she will call for an Uber. So luckily she isn't drunk driving. Now, this isn't a big deal since we're used to people like her until the summer trip starts coming around the corner. It was a trip to a big theme park in my country. Everyone was buzzed, especially the staff members, since this is basically a free trip for them since the nursery is paying for it. The children will be with their parents or guardians, so we didn't have to take care of them and just go wild with alcohol and the rides. On the day of the trip, Karen came along as usual in a tight dress, high heels, pungent perfume, and excessive amount of makeup. She looks like she is dressed for some sort of formal party, whilst the other parents are dressed in casual clothing, preparing themselves for war. Remember, us staff members don't have to look after the kids on this trip, and it's the parents/guardians' responsibility to do so. Before we left for our trip, Karen noticed one of the children, a beautiful toddler whom I'll name Anna, with blonde pigtails and bright blue eyes. Karen walked up to her mother, whom she held hands with, and said something quite disturbing to the point Anna's mother requested us staff to help keep a distance from her. Any exchange went as followed. Karen says, "Oh, that's a cute girl," Anna's mother says. "Ah, thank you. She is our pride and joy. She has such beautiful crystal blue eyes and blonde hair. Her skin is so fair and pale." "Yeah, she's beautiful." She was a bit creeped out at this point. "I wish Mary looked like her." Anna's mother looks at Mary and says, "Oh, Mary is also a beautiful girl too." Karen scoffs and says, "Yeah, right. If anything, I want a baby girl like yours." She looks closer at Anna and strokes her blonde hair. Anna's mother was creeped out by that and pulled Anna away from Karen before quickly heading to us for some help. With our help, we assigned Karen and Mary to sit at the very back of the bus, whilst Anna's family sat in the front to keep some distance. Once we got to the theme park, everyone was let loose, and the parents and guardians were in for a treat. Whilst staff and students went nuts on the rides and the alcohol, basically just had a blast. Until it was nearing late afternoon, we were all getting hungry, so we walked over to the food court. And there we saw an unpleasant sight. Karen was drinking some beer at one of the far back tables, talking on her phone whilst Mary was asleep in her buggy. We looked at this scene with disgust and walked over. The exchange went as follows after Karen noticed us and put down the phone. Karen says, "Oh, hello there." I tell her, "Hello, Karen. Enjoying the trip?" "Oh, I wish. It's been so boring and tiring and my feet ache from walking around and it's so bloody hot." She was wearing a tie black dress and tall black heels. Of course she's gonna get tired. I see. Did you two enjoy any of the rides? Yeah, Mary enjoys the merry-go-ride more than anything. I want to know that there was no merry-go-round in a theme park. I seated myself along with two other staff members with Karen to get to know her and see if she was okay, because I can tell she was kinda tipsy with her skin all flushed. We kept an eye out for her and just kept talking and drinking until finally things took a turn for the worst. She talked about things we couldn't believe. "You know, I never wanted a child, but my husband adopted Mary from one of his African trips because, according to him, he felt like he had to, and he sees her as his own flesh and blood." She scoffs as she drinks more. The husband is a journalist who travels a lot. I say, "That's nice of him. I'm sure Mary will grow up to be a healthy, beautiful girl." Karen scoffs again. "Yeah, beautiful, right. Back in America, beautiful white girls are the most popular ones in high school." And then she mumbles something quietly. "Pardon?" "Her skin is so black. I wonder if there was a bruise, would anyone be able to see it?" I look at the other two staff members with worry, but they nodded as they quickly rushed over to Mary to check if she was okay and see if there were any signs of abuse, whilst I kept Karen occupied with idle talk. Luckily, Mary didn't have any signs of abuse, but since Karen was a bit tipsy and tired, one of the staff members took Karen back to the bus to rest, whilst the bus driver kept a close eye on her. We took Mary after getting a drunk consent from Karen. We took her on children rides that she'll enjoy, like the elephant ride, the airplane, the baby roller coaster and more. We still had our fun until it was time to gather back at the meeting point around the evening. We quickly informed the manager what we had heard and expressed our concern, and the manager took it into consideration. Once we got back, apparently the manager contacted Karen's husband and informed him of what had been said and how she's been treating Mary, and also to pick up Karen since she was tipsy. Not sure what the husband did after learning all of that. The very next week, Karen came into the nursery quite early, which was unusual, to pick up Mary. Anna and her mother was passing by her in the hallway to go home when suddenly Karen grabbed Anna by the arm and screamed, "I want this child! Give her to me! What the hell is wrong with you? Let go!" Anna's mother screamed. All the staff members quickly rushed over to the scene to pull Karen away. Anna was crying in pain and fear with her mother grabbing her away from Karen and hugging her protectively. "I deserve a beautiful white child. Give her to me, she's mine. I want a beautiful baby girl." We restrained her with 3 men holding her down. We quickly contacted the police and her husband. Everyone was informed to leave early that day, including the cleaners, especially since I was a student. I left early because of the ruckus, but some stayed back to give a witness statement. Afterwards, according to one of the staff members, Karen's husband argued like hell with Karen in the nursery's office and basically threatened to divorce her, which got Karen crying. Karen's husband took Mary with Karen, basically hugging him by the leg, begging him not to leave her and that she was sorry. For a month, instead of Karen picking up Mary, it was either Mary's nanny or the husband. According to one of the nosy staff members, the husband had divorced Karen and got a restraining order against her because apparently when the husband went to visit Karen in jail, she tried to attack him for prioritizing Mary over her. And Anna's mom also sued her and got a restraining order. I'm not sure what happened to Karen afterwards, but I hope she never has children of her own. Also, Mary is being well taken care of by her loving father, who treats her like a treasure regardless of skin color and thinks she's a beautiful baby girl. A lot of the staff members had a crush on him after this incident. Edit: I forgot to add that I don't think all the white Americans are like Karen. I only included her background of being American because she kept talking about her time in America and how in high school it's only the pretty white girls that are popular and good looking. No hate towards white American peeps. Edit 2. I am not sure if Mary was adopted before or after the father was in a relationship with Karen, but I knew that the relationship was only about 2 years and a bit. I'm pretty sure Karen was after the dad's money because he's fairly wealthy. Not upper-class wealthy, but middle-class wealthy. And she often spent his money like water and used to brag about how much money she has, thanks to her husband. Years ago, I was in a bad car accident. An older man turned left in front of me at an intersection and T-boned me. Ambulances were called and I was put on a backboard with a neck brace and brought to the hospital, where I was deposited on the gurney in a hallway as there were no rooms available at that time. I laid there for quite a while waiting to be seen. My injuries weren't bad, basically just got banged around and bruised up, so I was okay with the waiting. But I was in pain and laying on my back was very uncomfortable. I didn't think there was anything wrong with my neck. The only pain I felt was due to the damn neck brace digging into the bottom of my skull. And I really wanted to lay in a different position, not only to alleviate some of the pain in the rest of my body, hopefully, but also because I was parked right under a light that was flaring in my eyes the whole time. So I started taking off my neck brace. A nurse spotted me doing this and ran over, very upset with me, and she told me that I had to keep the neck brace on. I tried telling her my neck was fine, but she was adamant that I not remove the brace until the doctor had examined me, which I get. I'm guessing at the very least it goes very much against protocol, and at the very worst it would have been a huge liability if I took the brace off and there was something wrong. Plus, I didn't want to piss off the nurse or be one of those patients. So I begrudgingly complied even though I thought it was an overkill. I tried to reposition myself as best as I could to the least painful position. Not very successfully, unfortunately. However, the damn light flaring directly down was driving me crazy, even when I closed my eyes. Finally, out of frustration, I took the blanket that was over me, pulled it up more and threw it over my head. Oh, finally no more light in my eyes. Plus, I just laid there trying to plug the pain and daydream to pass the time, wondering how long I would be there for. Not too long after, I hear what sounds like a bit of a commotion and someone saying something about a dead person in the hallway. I was like, oh my god, that's freaky. I got that there were no rooms available but to leave a dead body just laying out for everyone to see. I thought that was uber creepy. Suddenly, the same nurse that gave me a hard time about the neck brace pulls a blanket off my head, scaring me, and she starts yelling at me that I am not allowed to put the blanket over my head. What the hell was I doing? It was then that I realized that the body they were talking about was me. I said, "Oh no, I'm so sorry. I just wanted the light out of my eyes and I can't move my head with a neck-damn brace on." To say the nurse was not impressed would be an understatement. But she did find a room to move me and positioned me not under any light, which I thanked her very much for. She just gave me a surly look and walked away. Yeah, sorry. Obligatory, not my story. My wife attends Bonko on Tuesdays and heard this from a nurse or CNA or RNA. Not sure which acronyms, but she's a medical professional. We will call her Susie. Susie has a very positive and upbeat personality with a wild sense of style. She wears very bright clothes and likes to wear wigs. And no, she does not have cancer, but she is always rocking an awesome wig that matches her outfit. My wife even sends pictures to me aside from the social media posts of their night. She wants to get wigs and lets me know by way of these pictures. Last Banco night, Susie tells the gals about one of her patients that clearly did not like her. She always has a frumpy face when looking at her and always has a problem. The patient was getting continuous care and saw Susie regularly over the past few weeks, so this attitude grated on her over time. But this time she crossed the line. Upon her latest visit, she told Susie, "Your unprofessional wigs are making me sick. Stop wearing all these different crazy wigs." Instantly, right then and there, Susie took her wig off, making sure it clearly showed one of her reasons for wearing wigs in the first place. She had long clumps of hair that gnarled out in all directions, showing bald spots as well. Susie has alopecia and lets it grow out to help fasten the wigs at times, but my wife was told it was quite the sight to behold, and Susie ended with, "Is this professional enough for you?" Susie wishes she could have a picture of the moment, but the way she describes the lady's gnarled lip at the sight of her and in response to the action was classic. She gave me permission to put this up. I changed names and didn't get specific. The patient never said anything mean to her again, and even made an attempt at smiling the last time she saw her. So this is a story of malicious compliance from the other side. I, 40 male, was recently divorced and had started dating someone, 38 female, who lived in one of the area exurbs. We agreed to meet up for karaoke at a bar local to her that had a noticeably country vibe. Anyway, I wound up stuck at work longer than expected and called to let her know I'll be a few minutes late. She said no problem. "Do you want me to put something in for you?" I said, "I don't know, surprise me." So literally as I'm walking in the door, the MC is a karaoke person an MC, or do they have a different title? It calls my name, so I walk directly to the mic, look over and ask what I'm singing. The music starts playing and it's Dancing Queen by ABBA. I'm thinking, okay, I'll give it a shot. Well, it turns out that everyone of a certain age can remember how the chorus goes, but I was absolutely clueless about the verse. Meanwhile, a few of the more redneck types are looking at me like, "Are we gonna have to kick his butt or what?" The MC took pity on me and switched me to a different song. We've been married now for 8 years. I've never asked her to surprise me again.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.